One thing that everyone has to get used to is you always use your right hand for everything. If you pay like I mentioned earlier, you hand the on-coat driver the money, you'll want to use your right hand. If you pay him with your left hand, that's offensive. And I mean, I've done it before because I forgot, because I was a foreigner, and they're not gonna like freak out, but it's just culturally acceptable. When you receive something or give something, you'll use your right hand, because you use your left hand in the bathroom. Indonesia doesn't have, well, they have it, but they don't use toilet paper. So hopefully this is appropriate for the interview, but you will be using your left hand to wipe. It is what it is. It's not a big deal. It really is not. Once you're there, it's just part of life, and it's not a big deal. But that's why you want to use your right hand. I mean, you're still clean. It's not like you're dirty or anything, but using your right hand is what's polite and accepted for eating, for giving, for receiving, for shaking hands. But I guess Indonesians don't really shake hands. It's kind of like they just kind of stick their hand out and you shake it and then they pull it back. It's really awkward generally. Nodding was something that was weird for me at first. It's really good to get in the habit of. If you want to contact someone, you'll kind of catch their eye and then you'll kind of nod your head and say, if it's a woman, you say like "Permisi bu." It's like "Excuse me, ma'am," or "Sir," and that way they'll be engaged and they'll listen to what you're going to say. So nodding. One thing I still haven't gotten out of the habit of is if you walk in between two people that are conversing or a group of people, you always you kind of bow down with your hand to the side so that your body doesn't pass through their level of eye contact. So I was like squatting like way down when I passed by people. But I mean, that's kind of like common courtesy, I would think. I mean, I still kind of, if I walk in between two people, I get like self-conscious. I'm like, oh, sorry. So that's one thing. A lot of times when you go to someone's house, the floor, like if it's a teaching appointment or a member, I always took my shoes off. A lot of times they'll be like, oh, you don't need to, but I think that's generally common courtesy, respectful to take your shoes off when you enter someone's home, as long as the floor is not, like if it's a dirt floor, then obviously not, but like cement or tile or whatever, you'll want to take your shoes off. I mean, like I mentioned, they really do love foreigners. They'll probably assume you're Australian or from Europe just because it's kind of more rare for Americans to be there. But once you tell them you're from the United States, and generally they'll be ecstatic. Oh, Obama grew up in Jakarta, supposedly. He went to elementary school there or whatever. And they'll be interested to know what it's like there. They'll assume you're rich, which is annoying sometimes. They'll ask for money. There are a lot of beggars in Indonesia, which is sometimes it's very sad. They're missing a limb, or they're sick and they're all over the place asking for money. But if you're just friendly to people, smiling is just the biggest thing, I think. But that's something I had to work on as well. But if you just smile at someone, they'll smile back. They're really kind. They'll be interested to talk to you once they know you're approachable. If they think, because they'll assume you're prideful, they'll assume you're minding your own business, you have no interest in them or their life. Once you start to show interest, they'll be pretty excited and they'll open up and ask you all sorts of questions. Other do's and don'ts. When you're walking around, everyone's going to be, well, not everyone, a lot of people will just yell at you. Not in a mean way. They'll just shout things to you. Everyone's gonna be like, "Hey, mister." They call every white person mister or bule. Bule is like, I guess it means white person or foreigner. Kind of sounds derogatory sometimes, which is annoying. But they'll call you mister or bule and shout something at you in broken English. How are you? Where are you? Things that don't make sense, and you'll just get used to that. But you shout stuff back at them in Indonesian and they'll all laugh and be like astounded.
Everything you do is with your right hand. So even if your right hand is full of groceries and they're giving you your change, you switch it to your left hand and you take it with your right hand. So that was something really interesting. They think the left hand is unclean. And so just getting used to, this is how you do it. Always taking things and giving things with your right hand. Another thing is you don't ruffle an Indonesian child by the hair. They're very sensitive about the head. And so I never actually found out why on that one. Probably a lot of other people could tell you, but it's just something you don't do. And another thing in Muslim culture, Islamic culture, you take off your shoes before you enter any home. And so that was something I had these really bulky tie-on shoes at the beginning of my mission, and I quickly learned, oh, this is not going to work. And so I had to buy new shoes while I was there that I can get on and off pretty easy, because every time you go into a home, it's very, very impolite to wear shoes. And so that was one thing I had to learn to deal with pretty quickly.